We made it, boys. We're going mainstream. Today, we're going to be reacting to this article in the Daily Beast, which is like this huge publication with millions of viewers, in which I was actually interviewed for this article. So we're going to go ahead and read it and react to it. Were they fair, or did it make it seem like PE is just something for insecure incels? Let's find out. Okay, so first, kind of want to sneak in a little bit of a community update here. Just apologies, I haven't uploaded for a couple weeks or a week and a half now. Just kind of life gets in the way sometimes, you know. Life is short, so I try to enjoy it as much as I can. So just my apologies. I've also been working on this this video about doing more like pharmacology breakdown, and those videos take forever for me to to do research, look at studies and all that. So if you want to help support my content, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment. Helps the AI, the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm. So just help me support me, because a lot of these videos I put a lot of work into it. But today we're gonna do kind of a sort of easy video today, in which we're actually going to be reacting to this Daily Beast article in which I was interviewed. So yeah, let's go through it and I'll kind of explain everything. Okay, so here's the Daily Beast. Like, I'm not bullshitting. Here's the actual article that came out. This came out basically yesterday. And I was interviewed by this girl. Her name is Jessica Lucas. She is like this cute girl from Britain, I believe. She had like this cute accent. I thought she was super cute, I'm not gonna lie. But she was also really nice. But you never really trust news people, to be quite honest. I feel like everyone just kind of twists the truth, and I never really believe the news, to be quite honest, because I think it's just mostly bullshit. But yeah, so let's see what it's about. So essentially, she basically posted in the Reddit Getting Bigger, in which I'm part of that community, and she was just looking for people to interview. I hit her up, and she basically we scheduled something, and she interviewed me. It was like a face-to-face interview. So she saw me face-to-face, which was cool. It makes things a lot easier. I'm not gonna lie, like, I was a little hungover. I think I had a date the day before. But it turned out pretty well. I'm not gonna lie, it went pretty well. So essentially, she interviewed me. It was like we were supposed to do it for like an hour. It went over for like an hour and a half, so it was pretty exhaustive. Like, she asked me a ton of questions, and by the end I was pretty tired, not gonna lie. I felt like the format of the interview is where they kind of ask you like the easy questions first, sort of the non-controversial stuff like that, and then when you're kind of like getting a little bit tired, and you're mentally just not 100% there anymore, that's when they start throwing in like the more controversial questions, like the gotcha questions. So she started asking me like about like incels and like the red pill stuff, and I don't really believe in like the red pill shit. Like, I think a lot of it is like pretty misogynistic. I like girls. I think, like, just like most humans, there's like good women, there's not so good women. It's just, there's different types of people. I don't think like we can just categorize them into like all women are bad or whatever. So I definitely don't think like PE, the PE community is like a place for any of that stuff. Like, we're improving ourselves. There's no need to like put anybody else down. If someone like this said something to you, like a woman made fun of you, I mean, that's just a bad person. Like, you can always find someone that's not a bad person. So that's how I feel about it. In any case, let's quickly go through this article. So essentially, they use my real name, which is Miguel. I prefer Mr. X. It's a lot cooler. When I go on dates, I tell you to girls, you can call me Magic Miguel or Miguel Papi Chulo, like that. So anyways, they're like, Miguel didn't have any desire to try and grow his penis. So basically, until I basically told them how I broke it. So I don't want to read through the whole article. I'm just gonna go give it a bit of a sort of overview and stuff. So first, they actually talk about how I didn't want to actually grow my penis. Like, I had never even thought. I didn't know anything about PE before, until I broke my penis, essentially. This happened way back in 2020. Basically, I was having like rough anal sex with my ex at the point, and I basically like was having rough anal sex, and it fucking broke. I felt it, and then the erection went down, and for the next few days I couldn't get an erection. It was painful. When I finally did get an erection, it started curving, and it was actually very painful. It was weird. It was really weird. And that's the last time like I remember seeing my normal regular dick that I remember. Like that's long gone. You know, thankfully, thanks to PE, I was able to make it stronger, faster, like, you know, thicker, longer. But I remember that was like the last time that I saw it, like just regular. But, you know, when I broke it, it's basically when I started, you know, looked into the PE community and started doing it. So, yeah, I basically experienced pain and difficulty maintaining an erection. That's right. And basically, my first doctor, he basically wrote me off saying that it was just a mental health issue. Like, oh, it's all in your head. Like, you know, you can't get it up. Like, it's all in your head. Stop masturbating too much. Because at that point, I was masturbating a lot. And then, yeah, when I did get an erection, it started to bend, right? And I visited a urologist, in which, you know, they confirmed that, like an actual specialist, that it was Peyronie's, which is like, yeah, they basically say here there's a buildup of scar tissue. So she basically just kind of pasted the clinical definition of Peyronie's, which is fine. You know, I ended up getting my divorce deteriorated, and my wife and I basically started sleeping in separate bedrooms. So I had an office. I started sleeping in the office. And this is where I fucking like just immerse myself in the PE community and all the techniques and just trying everything. You know, it was along this about this time that I learned about Mike from Total Man, and a lot of his stuff really changed my life and his products, which is great. So I always give big props to Mike from Total Man. And so basically, yeah, my penis started to shrink because of the curvature. I mean, it's not quite right. Like curvature and shrinkage are kind of like two different things. I mean, it's generally right. And basically, yeah, I was desperate to make it better. Like there is no healing process. Like once it starts to curve, that's like it'll always remain that way. Sometimes your body is able to kind of, you know, in very small cases, the body is able to fully recover. But this is kind of like the rare exception to the norm. In most cases, in the overwhelmingly amount of like the most cases, your penis will basically remain this way. And yeah, basically we talked to my doctor about doing traction, and he basically mentioned the Restorex, which is basically, you know, the one that you apply is like a vice-like contraction to extend the length. And at this point, I felt like I had nothing to lose, basically. So it's like, yeah, they quote me here. So it says, kind of sucks because you got to literally sit for like 6 hours with this thing on your dick. But luckily, I work from home, so it ended up, you know, working out for me. And then it says Miguel, who is now 37, lives in California, and I work as a programmer. And so basically they, yeah, I didn't give him my last name for privacy reasons. So it took about a month of doing this is a little bit off. So basically, at first I started with the Restorex. You know, I didn't do the 6 hours that first month. So I did the Restorex. I had lost about half an inch. I started the Restorex, and I recovered that half an inch in that first month, wearing it like 90 minutes a day. And basically conducted from the comfort of his desk at home. And sometimes in the midst of Zoom meetings with his camera, if the camera was off, which is fucking hilarious because it's true. Like I'd be fucking in Zoom meetings and stuff, and I was, you know, just wearing it. More so like the vacuum based one, like the Restorex, I think is too uncomfortable to like even allow me to think to do things like that. But like, you know, the vacuum ones are like, they're super comfortable, so it's fine. Then I realized that I started working, and it was my catchphrase. Now it's better and faster, stronger than before. And I decided to continue. So I basically restored that half an inch that I lost. I continue to wear the Restorex, and I gained a little bit. Like I did it for, I believe, like 3 months of the 90 minutes. I gained about half an inch on top of my lost length. From there is when I switched to the Total Man vacuum chamber, the Total Man 2.0 extender, and that's where I would wear like 6 hours a day. And from there, I was able to gain a little bit over half an inch. So altogether, with the lost length, it was like a little bit over an inch and a half. And I documented all this stuff as I did it. So now, almost 3 years later, he claims to have added 2.5 inches. So it's not quite right. I think they did it. They either I misspoke or they misquoted me here, because it's not. I didn't gain 2.5 inches. That's kind of crazy. I wish. No, I mean, I regained as I said, I regained a half an inch, and then I gained a little bit over an inch. So about an inch and a half. But remember, half of that inch was something that I had already lost. And yeah, a little bit under an inch of girth. Which is correct. Most of that I would attribute to a lot of pumping and the PGE1 injections. So basically, and then they say my size, which I had never really revealed it in my channel before, but it's essentially 8 inches in length and 6 inches in circumference. So I'm right there in that Goldilocks zone. And but my goal really is to be 9 inches, and that's really what I like. I say I'm gonna stop at 9 inches. I want to stop, but I don't know. PE to me has become a little bit of an addiction. We should actually talk about it here. So it's like, if I'm at home working and I'm not doing it, I feel like I'm wasting my time, because I could be stretching. I get the shakes if I don't do it. I'm like just sitting here, like I should be doing something with my time, not just sitting here. Of course I'm working, but I want to like multitask. I basically left my ex-wife and then re-entered the dating market. So a lot of the guys, and remember, I entered the dating market with ED, with still working on my dick. I had just started injections. So over time, thankfully, the injections help rehabilitate my penis. I can get just regular erections now. I do take daily Cialis, which is great. Like, I don't actually need injections, but injections are to me, they're like super fun, because like you can fuck like a fucking porn star, and it makes it even girthier over time. And I got used to it. Like, it's just a little prick, boom. It can be painful, especially at the beginning. But to me it was worth it, and now I really don't even feel the pain anymore. Then I said, like, I don't think it's a form of addiction. Maybe it is, but if I'm not doing it, I feel like I'm being unproductive. So essentially, like, when I'm basically here, I'm laying down in bed and I'm working. I'm a programmer. I can be doing multiple things, and that's why I wear my extender. That's why I'm able to wear it for like 8 hours a day. You don't need to wear it like that long. If you look at the Restorix study, you can gain, and as I gain, when I started with the Restore, you can gain it from like just doing it 90 minutes a day. There's people that do like this whole like crazy like interval stuff. To me, it's too active. Like, I want to do other things. Like, I don't want to be like actually actively doing that. Like, it's so to me, it's just more efficient to do it longer. As far as like, because I have my hands free and I'm just sitting there working. Yours may not be the case, so you may want to like do it like shorter sets, more active sets. But really, like, if you just want to look at the Restorix study, you can gain by applying a constant traction of about 5 pounds for 90 minutes a day, and you'll definitely gain. You just have to make sure that you keep it constant at 5 pounds. A lot of the times, as the tissue relaxes, you're going to lose some of that tension. So you got to add a little bit of tension just to make sure that you have that constant traction at about 5 to 6 pounds. So, then they go on stretch goals. So Miguel is one of the 62.5K people who subscribe to Reddit are getting bigger, which they link to it over here. Which is the online Reddit community for PE. Basically, they talk about some of the stats. So it has tripled in size in the last year, which actually will make it one of the biggest subreddits, which is really interesting, which is great. Well, kind of. I don't know if I wanted for it to go mainstream. I don't know if I want for most people to know about it. But even like, I think it's still niche. Like, it's still not everyone's gonna know about it. And it's a lot like, like game or texting and stuff like that. Not like most people just like like Tinder openers. Like, most people don't know about that stuff. So. And its rapid raises questions about the root cause of its ever-increasing popularity and whether the activities are safe. So according to BD, who's like the founder of Getting Bigger, the Flourishing Group is the largest members of a network of PE communities. It's more popular than people realize. In the past 3 months, we got 60 million views. BD, who's also a software developer from Pennsylvania, told the Daily Beast, thinking back, I mean, I should have just used my regular name, Mr. X, which I prefer that. I should have just said that, but I don't give a fuck. Like, my first name is out there. If you look hard enough, it doesn't matter. And I generally, like, I'm not really doing anything wrong. Like, I'm here to help out people and guys, and to me, that's more important. So those that are active in the community believe that the techniques offer mental health benefits that outweigh that outweigh and are entirely separate from the end goal, which is extending the penis. I would say it's very, it's like it says, like it's positive results at a fitness center. It's like you're working out essentially. Benjamin Clark. That's the guy that basically the mail hanger guy who was nice enough to send me a free mail hanger, which I'm really behind on videos, like I mentioned. So I hope to get that review out soon, as soon as I can. The mail hanger. You start looking a little better in the mirror, which is great. I mean, like for me, I talk about this a lot, but like basically when I go on a date, I pump it up so that it's like nice and plump. And then like if I really want to impress a girl, I'll inject, and I want to last longer, just like porn stars inject. So I'm just using the same trick. And that makes it really plump, hang really low, gives me some hard ass erection. And even when I'm like, in my more soft or whatever, it still makes it like pretty big. So girls literally stare at me when I'm like walking around naked, and they're like, "Oh my god, you look so good naked." And I don't even have the greatest body, but obviously they're they're talking about my dick. So BD noted that those feelings can increase confidence. It's like having a trump card in the back of your pocket, knowing that you're well endowed, like you have a big dick. It's just like you have that big dick energy, right? Like it's true. Like there's girls that like try to fucking like people that like try to fucking like talk shit, and I'm like, I really don't give a fuck. Like to me, I get pleasure from like having sex with girls and having them be impressed with my dick size. Like it's just it is what it is. And I guess it's kind of a kink or whatever, but that's really what gets me off, and what I like, what I'm into. So it says, according to the experts, though, all is not what it seems in a world of PE. So they interviewed this Dr. William Brandt, who's a Utah urologist with a special interest in sexual health, who's been practicing more than 20 years. Told the Daily Beast that many men are simply correcting high muscle tone in their penises, tension which makes smaller muscles smaller than average and inflexible. That gives them the appearance of being smaller while flaccid. Like what the fuck even is that? Like what the fuck? Like I don't know. Anyway, so let's get reading. So for the most part, men are seeing that their flaccid length is becoming closer to the erect length rather than actually having a longer penis. Bro, like most men don't give two fucks about their flaccid length. Like if we were just increasing flaccid length, like we wouldn't be doing this. Like that's fucking retarded. Obviously we're gonna be measuring erect length. Come on, bro. Brandt exclaimed, of course, successful stretching can come with some of the benefits that members of getting bigger report: anxiety, lack of confidence. These things can lead to erectile dysfunction. Once the man feels better about his penis size, he'll have the full potential of his erectile function. I mean, that's just crap. I mean, like, of course, you can, using like good pumping techniques can give you better erection quality, taking things like L-citrulline, Cialis, stuff like that. But it's obvious that, like, it kind of makes it seem like guys are dumb, that guys are fucking retarded. Like you're just getting better erection, so that means that it grew when it didn't really grow. It's like he must think that people are retarded like him. In other words, his erections will seem larger even though that it isn't physically possible. I mean, there's like literally studies about this, where like it's actually, there's like at least like 3 studies, and at the very worst, it increased erect length, increased like 1 to 2 centimeters, in some cases more. And so like there's actually still, it seems like it isn't physically possible. That's not true. That's factually incorrect. You can say that it's not that, that in most cases it takes a lot of work, you gotta wear a long time, blah blah blah, but you cannot say that it isn't physically possible. The scientific data points to the opposite, that it is possible. So that hasn't stopped people from trying, and the techniques are not for the faint-hearted. Men use vacuum pumps to engorge their penises with blood, use traction devices to stretch out their penis physically, and some even use a special rig to dangle weights from their genitals to make them bigger. One man on Getting Bigger posted claims that he gained a total of 2 inches after hanging 40 pounds. That's crazy. I mean, is that what it takes to get to 2-inch gains? Do I have to start hanging 40 pounds on it? Like, I don't want to do that. That seems really dangerous to me. So my plan is to start adding more weight. Right now I'm about like 8 or 9 pounds. And I'm doing it for about 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours a day. And I'm seeing some results, but I don't want to just go to the extreme of, 40 pounds. Like maybe I will need to get there and, really like with the mail hanger and stuff like that. But I want to progressively get there and really almost like hopefully I don't have to get there at all. The lack of medical endorsement for such techniques is perhaps because of the inherent risks that come with it. I mean, I agree with that. It is risky. It is dangerous. A lot of guys hurt themselves, particularly with the manuals, which is why I tell people manuals are an advanced technique. I do not agree that manuals are good beginners. You can easily you see like the number of injuries in the forums all the time from jelking manual. You cannot measure the forces that you're using as opposed to with a traction device in which you could actually measure, or even better with like a vacuum and a weights, you can actually measure and know exactly how much of traction forces you're applying. So it is absolutely dangerous, and absolutely why most doctors will not recommend this, even and additionally because it's for cosmetic purposes, not medical purposes. So men regularly use getting bigger to post pictures of their purple bruised penises that have darkened from penis pumps, and they link to some of the, I'm not gonna click them, but friction burn penises, express concern about potential nerve damage, lost sensation. So these are all like very, very real risks, particularly like the darkening, right? Like you can get blisters. These are all true. The subreddit even has a injury Autobot, which sends responses to the worried members facing injured genitals. Even Miguel suffered from such effects. It's like, because of the vacuum, I developed this big ass blister on your dick. He said, I actually have a bit of a scar from one, which is true. Actually, on my glands, there's a little bit of a tiny like discoloration from a blister that I got. It was like one of my first blisters, so I didn't really know how to treat it and stuff. I think I just popped it and I ripped off the skin, which you're not supposed to do. If you are gonna pop it, which is what I do, usually you just leave it alone. But if it's uncomfortable, you can pop it with a sterilized needle, but leave the skin, leave the skin there. What I do is I'll put a little bit of Neosporin. Be careful for it not to get into the urine hole, and put like a band-aid over it so that the skin, the foreskin is held back. I put actually a little bit of micropore taper on the foreskin so the foreskin doesn't go, so it airs it out. I put a band-aid to protect it. I put some Neosporin for the scarring. But I didn't know how to deal with it before, and so I have this tiny bit of a scar there. It's not noticeable, only I can see it. Like no one has ever said anything like about it. You can't really notice it. I have a bit of a scar from one. It's not surprised you won't find doctors signing up for these practices. The doctors are not going to suggest it, because someone gets home and they hurt themselves, the doctor will be liable. Of course, absolutely. This is why doctors are not going to recommend it, which is fine. They shouldn't, like it's dangerous. They're not going to recommend it. But if someone asks, like, what's the data, they should be truthful, but they shouldn't be like, they should be giving them warnings, like telling them, like, don't do it unless they have Peyronie's. I don't think there's any sort of medical reason for you to do it. There's only cosmetic reasons, and it is dangerous, so you should be careful, but it can be safely done, just like any hardcore like exercise, or like operating a gun, stuff like that. Like, there are things that are dangerous, but you have to be trained, you have to know how to do it right. And that's what this channel is about. So Nora Clark, who was gained 2 inches and 5/8. The fuck, who even measures 5/8? That's fucking hilarious. In length, and 1¼ inches in circumference from 10 years. So I have like a 1 inch to go, and I'll stop. I don't want to keep doing this. I'll just have just a maintenance routine. Returning a total size of 7.5 inches and 6¼ inches round. The doctor, meanwhile, said the risk of engaging in penis growing techniques should not be taken lightly. There's burst blood vessels, the destruction of the penis erectile mechanisms, torn muscles, loss of sensation, and possible side effects. If you hang heavy weights from your penis, it's likely to do more than stretch. It could actually injury, tear things, or potentially cause unrecoverable issues. Nerves do not like to be stretched, he says. I've ever seen permanent damage from the overuse of the vacuum devices or the heavy weights, absolutely, which is why I personally do not recommend either heavy weights or vacuum devices that do not have a gauge, because then you don't know how high you're going. Brand feel that men haven't taken such risks for as long as they have existed. He noted that the widespread use of pornography amongst men may be exacerbating the issue. If a man's view of what is normal is based on pornographic actors who are not chosen to be normal, regular men, then of course they're going to feel like they're inadequate. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's you know, at the same time, in people, like you see people that are in good shape and pretty on TV, and then you're gonna want to, like, you know, work out and do all these things. So I mean, that's just life. There's a lot of data showing that men in general actually have no idea what a normal penis length is. They usually overestimate normal size by quite a lot, which is true in the U.S. The average is 5.5 bone pressed in length. So it's something that BD is actually working to combat by producing charts to educate people on average size of penis, on camera angles, dildo lineups, and how much changed by just a few inches of growth. He runs a YouTube channel. Pretty good YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Want to make sure that people understand what the average is. If they realize they don't need to be 10 inches long. Yeah, I mean, I hope I'm not one of those. Like, I don't right now. I don't want to be 10 inches. I think I'll be happy with 9. And they won't get hurt trying to get to it. You know, the only thing I disagree is in manuals. Like, I think a lot of people will hurt themselves with manuals, which is, I'd rather they learn how to properly tape, how to use a good traction device with good low traction forces. I'm the one that advocates more time, less traction forces, especially at the beginning. And a lot of this is based on the studies as well. This is more about self-empowerment that's trying to live up to expectations. Although Miguel also believes in spreading the word, he has a penis enlargement YouTube channel, and he hopes that the community doesn't expand too much. It's like, honestly, I wouldn't want it to go mainstream. I want the people that get injured to know about it. Obviously, that's what a lot of my channel's about. But if it goes mainstream, then we're back to being average, which kind of defeats the whole purpose, right? And that's basically true, right? Like, I don't like just being average when it comes to that. Like, you know, there's a few things that I really care about. I don't particularly care about money. I don't particularly care too much about fame. I do like a little bit of clout, mostly because it attracts women, hotter women. You know, it helps my sexual market value go up. You know, I do care about looks, you know, especially like my skin and stuff like that. There's not a whole lot you can do about the face or stuff like that. I try to go to the gym as much as I can. But you know, when it comes to like penis size, I don't want to be average. Like, it is what it is. I love the comments that girls give me. Like, I love like having sex. You know, I love that girls say that I have that big dick energy. I love all that stuff. So you know, overall, I think the article is actually pretty fair. I thought it was really good, to be quite honest. You know, the chick was really nice. As I mentioned, I thought she was super cute. I think those pictures don't really give her justice. I think she looks really cute, honestly. You know, hopefully, you know, help spread the word out a little bit, particularly in the injury department, and how you know, and help out some guys that are like insecure, or at least, like, you know, I don't mind a little bit of the clout, which is great. You know, hopefully brings him a couple more subscribers. That would be nice. But in any case, make sure, if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me out. It would help me out a lot. I'm working on some really good videos. That's taking me a lot of time, a lot of research. But there's one coming out on DMSO. So keep an eye out for that. So yeah, stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more content coming up. Sorry for the delay. Life gets in the way sometimes, but you know, make sure you stay posted, because I'm going to be posting some fire content. So hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Peace.